Hey guys, thanks for joining me here on this video. I am hoping that this video will be kind of quick and to the point, but there's a lot of information I want to go over with you to make sure that you understand your 3D foundation that you just got from Mascara Beauty. I am so excited that you're learning this new way of doing makeup. It's not like anything we've been taught, probably, if you're like me. And so there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but thankfully, the way Mascara packages everything, you'll be able to get it, no doubt. I have all faith in you. You'll have it done. I usually tell people 2 to 3 times, just trying it, and by the 3rd or 4th time, you'll be able to do it in your sleep. So when you get your 3D foundation in, it'll come packaged in this beautiful box. They spend a lot of time and energy making sure that looks as good as the products are. So you're going to enjoy that. But one of the things you'll find in your package is going to be this little card. And this is what I like to call the Hack Girl card. It shows you where all of the different colors go on. Now, if you are one of my customers, I probably recommended that you get 2 highlight colors. That's that yellowish color here. And that's because the lighter of the 2 highlight colors is going to go under your eyes. See that little triangle area there? That's where that's going to go on your face. And normally, most women are going to have more than 1 color on their face anyway. So it's going to blend in beautifully and bring out the parts we want to bring out and kind of help those parts we want to hide get hidden a little better. But you're going to have your contour, 1 or 2 highlight colors, your lip and cheek, 1 or 2 or however many you choose to have, and then possibly an illuminator as well. I'm going to show you how I set mine up. I use the mini double decker, and there's several different sizes that you have the opportunity to get, but I'm just going to show you how I did mine. I actually have 2 contour colors because I like to have options. I'm just gonna be one of those girls. I have options, and I like to use the darker one actually to help my lips as well, and I'll show you how I do that later. But I've got my contour, I've got my 2 highlight colors together. My lip and cheeks I tend to put together. And then on the second layer, I like to put powders mostly. I like to separate my powders from my creams. So if you have a compact that has more than 1 level, you might want to do the same. Just because I like to keep them separated so that powders don't wind up getting into the creams and making them feel differently whenever they go on my face. Now, when they come to you, they'll be in these cute little tins that look like this. Every one of them has a different picture on there. And when they come to you, especially if you're in the South, you need to just let it sit on your counter, or maybe even in the fridge if you have room, just for like 15-20 minutes, and let them sit and solidify. Because here in the South, in the summertime especially, the temps get so hot that those creams wind up getting soft and maybe even melting. Now don't worry, it's not going to hurt your makeup. That's actually how they're created, is melting the color and everything together. But when you go to open this, if it's hot and melted, you're going to make a mess, and it's going to frustrate the living daylights out of you. So we don't want that to happen. Let it cool down before you try to open it. But when you go to open it, you see it's got like this cover here, and all I do is just put my thumb on the back and just slide it open. You see how easy that is? Just slide it open and it's ready to go. And then you can just pop it down into your magnetic compact there. Now, depending on what brush you got, you'll probably be able to use your foundation brush for like everything that you got it for. Like your highlight, contour, sometimes even your blushes, and your illuminators. You have a lot of options with that. So I'm just going to use this Detail Hack brush. You may have gotten the Buffy brush, which is great for full coverage or for texture issues. The 30-second hack is also a great one, especially for beginners to have. That's this one here. And let's see, another one that a lot of people will get is the B squared, or the blush and bronzer. It's hard for me to say that. Sometimes you'll get this one, and I actually use this end for my highlight color a lot. But I'm going to show you how to use this brush. This is the Detail Hack. You can use any brush, and to be quite honest, however you use it for your face is what's going to work. You know, there's no wrong way to use it, so don't get all caught up in having to fit into a mold when it comes to this. So since I'm teaching you how to do a basic hack in this video, I'm gonna start with the contour because that's what most people get kind of intimidated by. So my contour is here in the corner. By the way, when I set mine up, I kind of put mine in the order that I use it. So basically I can just pick up my brush and move to the next color and not have to worry about it. It kind of takes the thinking out of it for me. But I'm gonna start with my contour, and I like to use this end of the brush, the side with the flat end. Again, it's totally up to you how you do this. But we're gonna start close to our hairline and just add a little bit of shadow. I'm gonna try to go a little darker than I normally do so it'll pick up on the video. Now you'll notice your contour colors are gonna be a little bit stiffer than the creaminess of the highlight colors, and they're made that way for a reason, because for the most part your contour colors wind up going in places that really don't move that much on your skin or with your skin, so it's okay for it to be a little stiffer. However, if you think it's too stiff that you're just not getting enough product, just sheet your hair dry to it for like a second or two to soften it up and then go from there. So I've got the contour here, and then we're gonna come and find our cheekbones. If you are like me and have ample cheeks, then just come out from the top of your ear and you can just kind of press in and you can feel your cheekbone right there. Now here's a big tip. If you put your contour too low, like say in the hollow of your cheek right there, it's gonna be too low to give your face a lifted appearance. It's actually gonna make you look a little bit like a stroke victim, and we don't want that. So go ahead and put that contour a little bit higher, like on the bottom part of your cheekbones. I'll show you what I mean right here. Just a little bit higher, and I'm coming from the top of my ear kind of towards the bottom part of my nostril. Kind of think of it as if it's pointing in between, halfway in between my lip and my nostril there. So let me darken that up so you can see it pretty good. Now, some people like to stipple it like you see me doing right now. If you stipple it, it'll deposit a little bit more color on your cheek or on your face than if you were to swipe it. If you swipe it like you saw me do first, that deposits the least amount of color. And so you might have to go over it if you wanted to have a more concentrated, more obvious contour. Now I'm gonna come in. The beauty with cream is you can do it however much you want and blend it out however much you want. So I built that up a little bit there, and you can see what a difference this is making in my face before I even start blending or getting the other colors there. Okay, so I've got this color. Now what's left on my brush, I'm gonna come underneath my jawline. If you are a heavier girl like me, you may want to skip this part. Some people just feel that it's a little too much if you have a double chin to put contour there. I personally like to do it. I feel like it helps to minimize the fleshiness that I have there, but the key is when you do it, make sure you blend. Now, some of you guys will have beautiful jawlines, and this is gonna be like your money maker. You're gonna love this. So what you're gonna do is just find your jaw bone right there, and you wanna go like underneath, right under it. Make sure you're not going on the side of it like that, because that's more like a 5 o'clock shadow there. So come underneath that jawline. You wanna go under the bone. Think of it as if you were putting your thumb and resting your jaw on your thumb. That's where you want that line to go. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit more just so y'all can see it. And see how that kind of chisels that jawline out a little bit? Now what I do, while I have the brush in my hand, because I tend to forget a lot. So what I do is I just go ahead and take this brush and drag that color down my neck there. That's my way of blending it. Try not to get the contour up on my cheek there. Remember, I'm dragging it down. Everything else pretty much will blend up on our face, but this part we're blending down. All right, so I feel like that gives me a little bit better shadow that you could tell I actually have a jawline there. This is how I lose 5 pounds every morning, is because of this contour. So now I'm gonna take this brush. I've got most of the contour off of those bristles now, and I'm gonna dip into my main highlight color. And this color, I'm actually gonna put everywhere that I did not put the contour. I personally like to go right up next to this line of contour there with my highlight color, just to make sure I have it nice and clean. And this brush is so soft. I love it. I go all around my mouth with my highlight color. I kind of feel like this almost blends as I go, but that's just me. Now, I have a little bit redder cheeks, so I tend to put my main highlight color right on top. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, because your blush is going to go there in a minute, but that's just what I do. And then I take my main highlight color, put it in the middle of my forehead, and just kind of fan it out. And if you'll notice, I did not touch underneath my eyes or down the center of my nose with that main highlight color. That's because I like to switch this over and use a smaller end and come into my brightest highlight color, and I'm gonna tap in here. Remember, you don't need a lot. You just need, this makeup goes a long way, so a little dab of Dia. I'm gonna come and brighten underneath my eyes. You see how little bit I got on my brush, but it makes it look so, like there's so much on my face. You really don't need a lot. And all I'm doing is just making that triangle from the corner of my eye to the corner of my nose, sweeping up on my cheekbone, and just sweeping it all together. I kind of blend as I go, because on this part especially, because I don't want there to be a lot of makeup. But see what a difference it makes just brightening up under your eyes. Y'all, seriously, do I even need to blend? Yeah, I do. I'm going to blend. Okay, so let's do it on this side. I like to start, you probably know, just close to my nostril, and then work the color up to my eye, because I don't like there to be a glob of makeup right under my eye. I'm just gonna keep fanning that out, make it a touch more. And I feel like the sun has gone behind a cloud, so it may be hard to see me for a minute. And we're also going to come right here down the center of my nose. This is why I like the small end of this brush. Just down the, oh, there's the sun again. Just down the center, and you see how I'm fanning it out here? Now the reason I'm doing that is I've just created, I'll show you, a little bit here, a little bit here. This is like extra, you don't have to do this every day. But what I've wound up doing is creating like a triangle of light from the top of my eyebrows down my cheekbones, right there to my chin. And so what's going to happen is as I blend this out, it's going to bring that part of my face out. The rest of it's going to fall back. That's why we call this 3D foundation. It is amazing to do this. And I've done this all right now using just 3 colors in this compact and 1 brush. I mean, can you get any better than that? All right, so before I add my blush, I like to go ahead and blend, just because in my mind, it makes it look better. I don't want blush everywhere. I don't know that it will get everywhere, but I've just never tried it. So I'm gonna use my Perfector sponge, which I've dampened and wring all the water out of. And I'm gonna just tap it on my face. You can also use the fluffy end of your B² brush for blending as well, which is awesome. I love this because it gives you a fuller coverage look. This will give you more of a medium coverage. But all I'm gonna do is just tap it lightly. I'm not giving myself a concussion or anything like that. I'm just tapping to blend. I especially love using a beauty blender or a perfector like this, especially for those who are just starting out with hacking, because using a damp sponge, especially one of our beauty blenders, which is like softer than any other sponge you'll find, is gonna actually take off any excess makeup that you may have put on. Almost every beginner hack user, or hacker as I call them, almost everyone is going to use too much product, too much of the highlight colors and not enough of the contour. So this kind of helps even all that out. However, if you don't have this, I know for right now this is out of stock with Mascara Beauty. If you don't have one, use your fluffy brush and just go in circles. Now for your contour here under your cheek, you want to blend up. See how I'm getting my hair in the way? Just blend up, not down. And then the forehead, you kind of just go in circles. Just blending here as well. Now I want to show you one more thing with this detail hack brush. One of the reasons I love it. If you feel like you have a wider nose than some people, or you just want to make that diminished a little bit, I like to use this end, and I'll just kind of tap into it like that. Think of like a kitten's paw, just pawing at it. And I'm going to come in and do a straight line down one side of my nose. I bring that all the way, almost all the way up to my eyebrow there. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right. So you see, just adding a little bit of contour and highlight to your nose can totally change the way it looks. And I, for one, am one of those people that like anything about me that can look slimmer, I want to look slimmer. So I just have gotten in the habit of doing that every morning. So we've done our highlight and our contour, and I did it a little bit extra, just so you know. Now you're gonna be able to do this a lot quicker than me. But now I'm gonna switch to the B² brush. You can totally use this end of the brush to do your cheek color if you want to, or especially that 30-second hack. There's a fluffier side you can use for that, but I'm just going to use this because I love the B² brush. And I'm going to come in this color called Sandstone. It's very pigmented, as you can tell, and most of our matte colors are going to be pigmented, so you need to be careful about how much you use and put on your brush. So I just tap this in just a few times, and then I'm going to come and tap it on my cheeks. I try to think of it like sitting on top of that color I just put. Like I've got the contour here, and the color for the lip and cheek is going to be like sitting on top of where I put the contour. Now some people, look, that, I mean, seriously, I love this. Some people feel like they don't need blush or they don't want blush, and I just want to encourage you to try it because you're doing such a good job contouring and bringing out the best points of your face. You want to look alive. So try you some blush. If this is a little too much for you, then there's several other colors you can choose from. I personally, because our brushes are double-ended, I like to use the fluffy end to just blend a little bit, not a lot, with my blush once I got that done. And I'm just going to blend the side of my nose just to make sure that my contour isn't too weird. All right, guys, I love this stuff. Every time I use it, I'm just amazed. And then I get amazed and I'm still amazed. But anyway, so I've got my highlight, contour. My lip and cheek is done. Well, my cheeks are done. I haven't done my lips yet. But I want to go ahead on to my illuminator. Now, you may have chosen a cream illuminator, which gives you more of a subtle look, a subtle glow, you could say. Or you might have chosen a powder illuminator. I happen to have both of them in my palette here. This one's cream, and this one is the powder. The powder one is more of like an in-your-face pop of shimmer, whereas the cream is just a very subtle. And with the cream, you can use your fingers and just tap it on where you want it to go. And you can see if you can see where I put it right there. Just gives you a little bit of shimmer. Now the powder, I like to use a brush. You could use a perfector if you wanted to, but I personally just like to use the brush. And I'm going to show you which one I use for that. Ah, there it is. This is the best blend forever, and I like to use that really fluffy end. This is a great foundation brush too, by the way, for the summer. So I'll use the fluffy end, and you want to come right on top of your cheekbone here. There you go, just to create that shimmer. And I just like to kind of go back and forth and sweep it. So it's catching the light right there. I'll go from like the top of my, or the end of my eyebrow there, just down, kind of like a C on my cheek. There you go. And see, the contour is like chiseling my face in. They got that pop of color for my blush. And then that illuminator just catches the light, so it really just gives my face dimension. You know, I don't have a flat face anymore. So I'm going to do this on this side just to make sure you can see it and I don't look like I'm half done. All right, that's my powder illuminator. You can also just switch this brush over and put a little underneath the arch of your brow, into the corner of your eyes if you want to. Cupid's bow, a little bit on your nose if you want. Again, all of those things are completely extra. You don't have to. Now I'm going to show you a little trick I like to do with my lips. With your lip color, you can totally just take your finger or a lip brush if you have one, smear it in there and put it on real quick. It works wonderfully just to get out and get done with whatever you have for the day. I personally like to use our multitasker brush. This is my multitasker. I used it earlier this morning, so it's got color on it still. And I'm going to show you why I keep two contours. I can use this one to do the one I used earlier to do this part, but I'm going to switch over to this darker one just to show you what a difference it'll make. So I'm going to come in and line my lips with my contour. And you can tell I'm being a little messy with it. I'm getting outside the lines. We call it overdrawing your lips, because I'm going to come in and smudge that out. And it makes my lip look like it has more of a shadow, and it makes it look fuller. I'm going to come and do the same thing on top. Smudge it out. Now I'm going to come into sandstone and just put a little bit of that color. Remember, this is very pigmented, so you don't need a lot. A little of that color on my lips. And this is more like a earthy red, terracotta kind of color. I could let it go like that. Totally good. All I have to do is set my makeup now, because I already had my eyes done before I started. But I'm going to take it a step farther, and this Tropicana right here is a little glossier, you can tell. I'm going to come in and put that right here in the middle. This is extra, and just adds a little bit of light in the middle of that lip. Gives you a little bit extra dimension there, and that's what I love. So one more thing I'm going to show you about your illuminator is you can take that brush that I had earlier that I have apparently put somewhere. Y'all, seriously, I just had it. Ah, here we go. Ha! Take this brush, and I'm going to go into Photoshop again. And this is going to blow your mind. I'm going to go into Photoshop, touch into it just a couple of times, and then right there. That's all. Like, doesn't that look good? Oh my gosh. I'm amazed with this stuff. So my makeup is pretty much done. All I need to do now is set it. Now let's talk about the ways you can set your makeup, okay? Especially for those of you who are just getting started. Cream makeup is made, especially ours, is made to move with your skin. That's why it kind of looks like a second skin on your skin. It doesn't look like a cakey mess. It's made to look dewy and natural and give you a little bit of youthfulness back to your face, but you're gonna need to set it somehow. Now, I totally suggest every person, honestly, I feel like probably should use our Stay Setting Spray, which is made for this makeup. It smells like the beach. It is wonderful. I probably use way too much of it just because I like the way it smells. But I'm gonna spray my perfector here and just dab it on everywhere. Now, if you're normal skin to oily skin, or dry skin even, you'll want to do this. Now, let's say, for example, you're an oily skin girl like me. What I normally do with my makeup is I actually use this first as a primer. Our makeup is not made to use a primer. You shouldn't have to use a primer with it, but I have oily skin, and I know that throughout the day, my skin's gonna get oily, especially if I'm more stressed out. So to give myself just another layer of protection from that oil that my body makes, I use this as a primer because I know it works well with our makeup. Then I'll do my makeup, then I'll spray my face. Usually, yes, I do spray my face straight on. I don't usually use a perfector, but I'll spray my face to set it. Now, if you're an oily skin girl like me, especially this oily skin girl that lives in the South and has to deal with humidity out the yin-yang, I also use a powder to set my T-zone, only because my oily skin, humidity prone self needs a little bit in my T-zone. So I'm going to use our Power Powder brush. You can see it's got a slanted in here. and a little fluffier slanted in there. So I'm going to use this, press into our Vanilla Dust setting powder, and just press that into where I will normally get a little oily throughout the day. I still have a little bit of that dewiness left because I'm not caking my face with it. I'm just coming in and pressing it in where I need it. And that's why I love this brush. Like, I use this brush every single day to help me with my powder because I don't want a powdery mess on my face. So I've got my powder done. If you feel like you got too much in one area, I like to just use this side just to touch and make sure any excess powder has been brushed off, but that's just me. So check it out. This is using iiiD foundation. It's very like natural skin looking, but it's like my skin, but 10 times better. This is why I love it. I hope that you enjoy yours as much as I do. Remember, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to because you were not taught to do your makeup this way. You're just now learning to do that makeup to bring out those cheekbones and to bring out those eyes and the things that we want people to notice. Give it 2 or 3, let's just say give it 4 or 5 times of actually put it on your face to see what you think. And I guarantee you will be a lot faster than me because you're not having to teach someone else when you do your makeup. Go ahead and get it done. Let me know if you have any questions. That's what I'm here for. And I promise you, when you become my client, my customer, I take care of you. So let me take care of you. Let me know if you have any questions. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.